The medieval world of Crusader kings is famous for its legendary leaders and historical heroes, but not all courts and counts are created equally. My name is AlzaboHD, and in the following video join me as we explore 10 of the absolute worst characters to play throughout the Middle Ages. Starting off our list of terrible rulers is Count Luitfredo of Santiago in the 769 starting date. This unfortunate man is the only Suebi culture ruler in the game, a relic of the Germanic reign in northern Hispania. With a domain of only one county and on the literal border of the Umayyad Islamic Caliphate, Luitfredo begins the campaign in dire straits. Complementing things even further is that Mr. Fredo has no heir and his wife is far too old to sire any children. Since the Count is Catholic and all divorce proceedings go through the Pope, the only way to produce legitimate offspring is to imprison your wife and execute her King Henry VIII style, and find a suitable replacement. I say legitimate because you can also seduce and bed other maidens to obtain bastards, which you can later legitimize. But before you can even concern yourself with secession, you must never skip prayer day, because only divine intervention will save your realm from near certain subjugation from the Umayyad Mujahideen. It is said that no man is an island entire of himself. That is, of course, unless if you are the Sinhalese one-province island ruler of the Maldives at number 9 on our list. In the 1066 starting date, the Count of the Maldives, Mr. Mahasandura, finds himself marooned and forever alone among one of the world's most isolated archipelagos. His unenviable position is further complicated by the tiny army he can raise, the meager amount of banana boats along his shores, and the distinct lack of any feasible expansion opportunities. To his east lie the massive realms of the Tamil kings, and no one conquers the Tamil kings, especially since they have at minimum 7,000 highly trained soldiers each. Wait, there's a one-province minor nation in Sri Lanka perfect for expansion. No, just kidding. That one-province count has an army of 23,000 men just to stick it in your face. The real reason the Thakur of the Maldives is so bad is because the campaign lends itself to boredom, as the only way off the island is often by producing children and marrying them off to secure foreign crowns. If you want a real challenge and are a glutton for punishment, you can obtain the British Raj achievement by immigrating to the British Islands a few centuries early and acquiring the title of Emperor. How you're going to accomplish this, however, remains entirely on you. I hope you've brought your sunscreen because the Zunist sun god has blessed number 8 on our list with burning mediocrity and potentially skin cancer. Chief Danus of Farrah begins the campaign in 769 in a pitiful situation. Having only one single province in the Badlands of Afghanistan, no pre-existing sons to inherit, and married to an ancient wife whose oven has long since passed expiration. To make matters worse, Danus's belief in the cult of Zun endangers his continued existence, as the neighboring Abbasid Sunni superpower and Hindu states seek to blot out the sun with arrows and jihad. In practical terms, Danus is the subject of a dying and soon-to-be invaded state of Zabulistan, and is likely to sink with the ship unless if drastic action is taken. Although surviving is in and of itself an achievement, Iron Man-inclined players can achieve the Empire of the Sun achievement by pushing a Danus campaign to the limits, and reforming the Zunist religion and ruling as Emperor of a reformed Zunist state. Praise the sun. Hailing from the lost tribe of Dan is the Jewish king Phineas of Semien at number 7 on our list of worst Crusader kings. Although Phineas hails from a legendary dynasty, his position in 769 is anything but. He begins the campaign as a petty two-county king surrounded by Mephesite Christians eager to put the Christ back in Christmas. If you want to expand, your options are incredibly limited, as poor and near-worthless African tribal land surrounds you and the only valuable land to your north and towards the Holy Land is guarded by the massive Abbasid Caliphate. You will also have to reignite the menorah, as Judaism's starting moral authority of 20 leads to constant Samaritan heresies and the near impossibility of converting conquered provinces to the true faith. As a descendant of the ancient Israelites, you can technically attempt to obtain one of the hardest achievements in the game and reform the kingdom of Israel, but you'll have to battle the Goyim each and every inch of the way. You walk alone. Shabbat Shalom. Tithing his way onto number 6 on our list of suboptimal starts is Count Giacopo of Orvieto in the 1066 starting date. Giacopo has the misfortune of being a one-province vassal to Papa Supreme himself, the Pope. If the idea of having the temporal head of Christianity as your boss doesn't give you pause, the Count of Orvieto's position certainly will. It is no exaggeration to say that Giacopo has nowhere to expand his domain, as he borders both the Caroling Kingdom of Italy and the proper papal states who both can field tenfold the size of any militia he might be able to muster. Unsurprisingly, the Papa himself covets your county, and will almost always revoke your land, so be prepared to meet the All-Father in battle if you choose not to bend the knee. There are reports of players able to fabricate claims in Sicily and Corsica to expand a power base there, but unlike other lovers, once you break up with the Pope, you will be excommunicated at best and burned as a heretic at worst. If Ireland is known as Tutorial Island, then Iceland should be known as Uninstall Island, because you're going to absolutely hate number 5 on our list of worst CK2 characters. This designation is not as clear-cut as the others, as the competing rulers of Nordland and Vestland fight over the few sheep and potentially human females that inhabit the island. Gardar of Nordland is arguably worse than his counterpart in Vestland though, as his force limit is slightly more pathetic than his neighbor at an impressive 500-man garrison. To rub salt in the wound, Gardar's economy of rotting shark meat can barely support the unfortunate members of his court, much less that of a standing army or navy. With no money, you can say goodbye to any ambition of getting out of Iceland, and you can't even borrow a loan from Jewish merchants as your unreformed pagan religion blocks the mechanic. Oh, and if you're able to find a human wife, make sure to practice medieval birth control, since you're permanently locked into Gavelkind. This means that if you have any children, you can say goodbye to stability, as your realm is broken into progressively smaller portions of Shaykhah every time your ruler dies. Rushing on to number 4 on our list of worst Crusader kings is King Eadmund of East Anglia in the 867 starting date. This Anglo-Saxon petty king has the supreme misfortune of beginning his campaign at war with the largest Viking army to raid the Seven Seas. You can restart your campaign thousands of times, but the Lodbrok gang is coming and it will all be over in 10 seconds. This is because the scheming Swedes have an army of 9,000 men compared to your 1,000, and no matter how you react, you will almost certainly lose the war in the first year, resulting in an instant game over. It somehow makes it worse that even if your realm survives, your heir is Eadmund's bald and fugly half-brother Oswaldo. Busting his nut onto number 3 on our list of the worst kings in CK2 is the castrated eunuch Muniz. Hailing from Galilee in the 867 starting date, a campaign as the emasculated Emir will result in a game over unless if creative mechanics are employed to ensure quote-unquote legitimate offspring. This is because the mutilated Muniz cannot marry or adopt children on his own. A popular choice includes converting to a religion that enables concubines, and then being cucked on purpose to produce an heir, but we can do better than that. Using the restorative powers of Shaitan, you can actually regrow your satanic scabbard and impregnate maidens with demon seed. But don't just take it from me. You really should explore the narrative documentary of Muniz as seen in my castration challenge video, which will be linked as a card in the top right of your screen. If you're really looking to go balls to the walls though, you can aim to acquire one of the hardest achievements in the game in the form of a servant no more. To obtain this monster of an achievement, Muniz must become an emperor and have at least 100 realm size before he shrivels up and dies. A eunuch truly does have his work cut out for him. If you're wondering how anyone can be worse than a literal eunuch, I'm pleased to introduce you to Emir Sawdan of the Sawdanid Emirate at number 2 on our list. Sawdan starts his campaign in 867 as a Sunni Berber 3-province petty king in southern Italia. Unfortunately for this miserable Muslim though, Sawdan begins at war with Italy, who has 10 to 15 times as many troops as him. The Carlings also tend to help each other out, and it isn't uncommon for Italy to call on France and the HRE for a sanctified three-way, rendering a Sawdan playthrough a slightly more agonizing and drawn-out ordeal than that of Eadmund of East Anglia. Even if you somehow survive both the medieval mafia and the hardest war you'll ever face in the Clausewitz engine, Sawdan must also deal with unending rebellions. This is because all 3 of his starting counties are of the wrong religion and culture, meaning that a single uprising can stack wipe your meager militia and lay open your lands for reconquest. It might be best to abandon Allah and pray to RNGesus, because even if you restart hundreds of times, take out Jewish loans, and hire the best mercenaries money can buy, you'll likely end up as a footnote in European history. Inshallah, you can also get really lucky like I did and kill the King of Italy in a duel, inshallah. At long last, I'm pleased to reveal the worst character in CK2, none other than Shaykhah Adelgundis of Deniyya in the 769 starting date. It is no exaggeration to say that pronouncing this mouthful of consonants is infinitely more pleasing than playing a campaign as this godforsaken countess, but an explanation is in order. You see, the aged Adelgundis starts her campaign as a 69-year-old widow. Normally, this isn't much of a problem, but because of her former matrilineal marriage, Adel's only son belongs to another dynasty, effectively meaning that once she dies, it's an automatic game over. Menopause has long since ravaged the bosom of this Visigothic babushka, and much like Muniz, no natural solutions exist to replant the seeds of life from the dark and cobwebbed caves below. Where there's a will, there's a way, and there is a darker option. Before you go ahead and engage in unholy pregnation, though, you should talk to your doctor if demon seed is right for you. To consummate a union with the devil, you need to obtain the maximum rank in the Satanic Society, a task that might take decades. Adelgundis is likely to die almost every month of your campaign, and if engaging in satanic orgies doesn't kill her, then demon seed probably will. If you ever manage to impregnate yourself and survive the ordeal, congratulations, you should probably burn your baby with fire. Before ending the video, it's worth mentioning that Crusader Kings 2 is now completely free to play, no string attached. You might still be able to get the Old Gods DLC for free by registering a Paradox Interactive account as well, but I'm not quite sure. If you've made it this far into the video and enjoyed what you've seen, please consider liking, subscribing, or even ringing that bell to help the channel grow. I also have an affiliate link to the Paradox Interactive store if you're in the market for DLC for CK2 or any other 4X strategy game and want to support the channel. We've reached the end of the video, and I'd like to thank everyone for watching. A special shout out goes to my patrons on Patreon that support the channel and allow me to produce content on a regular basis. What videos would you like to see in the future? Let me know in the comment box below. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.